Welcome back, guys. Alright, so today I'm gonna be working on this POS Evo 10. Nah, I'm just kidding. This is a good friend of mine's, Josh's Evo 10, that he bought new, and I've been working on it for years, going through different setups and stuff like that. But just recently I got him hooked on track days, and you know, track days just have a way of bringing the weakness on any car, and especially in a turbo car. So there's a slew of stuff that we got to take care of on this thing to get it back up in shape. The main thing is, let's see if I can get this to focus. You see that bolt? I almost had it. Yeah, you see that bolt there that's coming out? Yeah, those are the turbo center housing bolts. So I got one of my old busted turbos here. This thing some crazy action. But anyways, so these bolts are all but gone. I think there's only one or two left. The rest of them are gone. Obviously, we got to replace that. We're gonna try to. I'm gonna try to put the full bracket. There's a whole bracket here. Maybe if I can fit it. And then we're gonna use some Norlock washers. Clean the bolts really good. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it with the turbo in place or not. I really hope so, because taking this stuff out on an Evo 10 is a royal nightmare. The downpipe, he has a custom 3.5-inch downpipe. The heat wrap came off, so I gotta rewrap that. I gotta put a heat blanket on the turbo. The power steering line here needs some heat protection because it goes really close to the downpipe. This thing we gotta change out for the stock canister, because this thing just keeps puking. The dipstick, the bracket on the dipstick broke. So we gotta replace the dipstick. While we're doing that, I'm gonna do an oil change. Let's see what else. He's having some front brake issues where his brake just keeps pulsing. So I think that the rotors have to be cleaned out. What else? Let's see. Talked about that. The catch can. Oh yeah, he has the Cosmic catch can, the one that goes behind the bumper. So that can gets full really fast, especially during track day. And right now there's no easy way to drain it, so we got to figure out a way to make a quick drain for it. Relocate the in-dash. So this is a system that I ran for a little bit that I ended up selling to him when I went to the Motec. So this is an in-dash. This connects to the to a Zatronics CT2 system. Okay, so and then this will display wideband, and it also connects to and then this also displays all the Zatronics sensors he has: boost, oil pressure, and then it connects to OBD2, so it also displays water temperature and stuff like that. It's got warnings and stuff like that. But right now, this just keeps falling off. So we're gonna put a carbon plate. We're gonna delete the stock radio. We're gonna put a carbon plate here and mount that guy there. Eventually, he'll put a radio here. Nice steering wheel, but it's all busted up. Cool thing about this car is that it has my latest iteration of the Ultimate Evo X fuel system. This thing has all the goodies. All right, but with all that being said, let's get right into it. Let's tear this thing apart. Obviously, I'm underneath this thing right now. So if you pay attention, at that bolt right there, okay, at that flange and bolt, you see how that flange is not even going up and down? That is supposed to be all the way in. So I think that what's happening is the center housing is not fully seated into the hot side. So I think we caught this thing right on time, man. This thing would have been a huge problem, and the car might have even caught on fire if that had come apart at the track. Unfortunately for my boy Josh, this guy has some irreparable damage. It looks like because the turbo was cocked in the housing, it actually rode up against the hot side, the interior of the hot side. This Gamma TI stuff. You look at it and it breaks, but you know, you could send this and ride it, but this thing is gonna be super laggy. It's basically kind of like clipping the blades, you know. So I'm gonna talk to him. I mean, if it was me, I would change this out. It really sucks, but I would change it out and possibly go smaller, since, you know, this is an 8374. Obviously this is a street car. This is like one of my 600 wheel stock block specials, but you know, since he's doing track work, 7670 would be better suited for him, better response and all that stuff. So unfortunately I did all that work trying to not take the turbo kit out, but now I gotta rip the whole thing out. So back to the time lapse. For those that work on Evo 10s, here's a really good tip for you guys. If you're ever working on the turbo stuff, putting a turbo or something like that, turbo kit, go ahead and take off the windshield cowl and the windshield wiper motor and all that stuff, because it just creates a ton of room. I mean, if you guys saw in the time lapse, I was able to take this out with the hot side installed, and this is a big runner manifold. So, you know, it makes a lot of room. The turbo itself doesn't really fit. Like, you can't have the actual turbo on there, it gets snagged up. I may try one more time. There may be some room to go this way, but with the manifold and everything, it's just not very, very tight. And also, if you have a big heat shield like this speed circuit heat shield, really the only way to get the heat shield on after the turbo kit is installed is like this. You gotta take the windshield cowl off. And more turbo problems. This is another issue that you're gonna have with turbo stuff. If your bolts ever come loose and you don't take your manifold completely out, you're pretty much guaranteed that this gasket's gonna be completely fucked up like this. It looks flat. It looks like shit, but it looks flat. It feels flat. So I may have to sand that down a little bit and it may be okay. And I reinserted the manifold, the turbine over the turbo. And I don't know if you can see, but there's huge gaps around the wheel. So it's definitely junk. Unfortunately, the housing is also junk. The whole thing is junk. All right, guys, so the original plan was that I was gonna do all the R&R on this. I was gonna make the whole list in this one video, but I think I'm gonna have to make a part 2. Didn't think that this was gonna be that much work, and we're gonna have to completely replace the turbo and completely go through this whole thing. So I think I'm gonna leave this video here. There will be a part 2, hopefully when we get the new turbo, reassembly, and then going over the rest of the list. So let me know if you guys want to see a full part 2 of me going through the whole list and putting the turbo together, or should I just make that one also short and just the turbo and then the car back up and running and maybe doing some pulls. All right, guys, so I'll leave it at that for now. I'll see you later. Peace.